Hi everybody, Jonathan here with another Enscape video, and today we're going to be looking at Enscape for Mac with Vectorworks. As you know, Vectorworks is my thing, it's my favourite tool, and I love the way that Enscape is now available on my native Mac platform for Enscape, and I've been testing this and it's been brilliant. So if you've seen my other video up here, I'll put the link up here, then you'll kind of get a bit of an impression about how Enscape is working. But I really wanted to run through just another tutorial with you to show you these great new features of the new Mac version for Vectorworks. So once again, I do recommend you visit the Enscape page or real-time-rendering.com to find out more about Enscape. And if you scroll down, we've got some nice little kind of, movies and things like that on the new features that you can have a look at. Also, I just wanted to kind of point out, if you go over to another tab, if you go to the resources tab, you can actually get some really nice sample projects here. Now, if you do scroll down right to the bottom, there's a really nice one that I want to touch on. And I'm just going to kind of like show you this one at all. This is one that I've done a previous video on, which is actually very nice, but that only works for SketchUp. Now this one is really nice and it works natively for Vectorworks. So this is one we're going to look at. So go ahead and download if you want to follow along, and then we'll get going with the video on Enscape for Mac and Vectorworks. Okay, so here is this wonderful Enscape sample Simple House project. So let me show you, give a quick look around in Vectorworks 2024. We've got this wonderful new interface, of course, in Vectorworks 2024, and it looks pretty awesome in dark mode. Don't forget that you can also go complete dark mode as well. But let's have a quick look around this file. So when you'll notice that when I change view in Vectorworks, there's one new little feature I just wanted to mention as well, and that is that I can actually set default modes for things like my front views and my side views. Okay, but I can also set render modes for my 3D views as well, which is pretty awesome. Now, if you do want to do that, let's just pop up into our Vectorworks preferences, and you'll notice there's these two new options. So previously we only had this option here where you could set the default render mode for every 3D view, but now we've got the option to set it for separate views and primary and different projections as well. So definitely let's try that out. Okay, so here's the model itself. It's a really nice little project. You can see it externally. There's a little bit of landscape, but there's a lot of detail inside. Okay, so before we jump into Enscape, let's hop inside. Now, if you go over to the save views, you'll see that we've already got a number of save views here. And if you double click on those, it will access those save views. Okay, so I'm just going to go through. A little trick on Vectorworks is Command-Shift-G, which is my render shortcut, just to basically set that default render mode there. Okay, so you can see if I wanted to navigate around, I would go to my visualization palette and get my walkthrough tool. And basically the shortcut for this is Shift and U, and we can have a really nice little navigate around our scene. So it's looking pretty interesting already, and so on. Now there is a layer that I've got turned off. You can notice that we've actually got some lights turned on. When the lights are turned on, of course, the auto light in Vectorworks gets turned off. So when you're navigating around, you may want to turn that off. Okay, so let's get going on the Enscape video itself. But look, before you hop into Enscape, make sure you make the most of Vectorworks, and do come and let me know, because that's where I do professional teaching and training all over the world with lovely clients, and I really help them reach their potential with Vectorworks. Okay, so let's go for it. All we need to do then, a single click, is once we've got Enscape installed, is go to our Enscape palette, click on Enscape Renderer, and basically click Start Enscape. So that is enough really to launch Enscape, and basically our model will start loading up. So if I just move this other screen across, you can see it's progressing. It takes a few moments for the model to load into Enscape, but you can see it's pretty zippy. Now I'm running on a Mac M1 Pro, 16GB, just the base model from 2 years ago. And of course, Apple just brought out these amazing new M3s and M3 Pros and M3 Max computers. So if you're a Mac user like me, you'll already be hankering after one of those. So I'm going to wait and see what the statistics are like on those and the performance benefit, and make a decision about whether it's worthwhile upgrading. I'll probably make a video on that too, so I'd love you to kind of subscribe and follow me on that journey with me. It's a lot of money to spend, but if I can justify it on terms of benefit for my work, then we'll go for it. Okay, so here we are in Enscape. Now, I've already got Vectorworks in the background, okay, just behind, so I'll leave Enscape just sat there for a minute. So the very first thing I want to do is just sort of navigate around in Enscape using my keys, the WASD keys. Remember, if I click Shift, I can go faster. I can also go up and down as well. So, I mean, my first impressions are we're getting pretty nice quality as we move around in Enscape. I really do like the way that the sort of trees and things kind of move when you're kind of like panning around and so on. We just get a really good feel for the scene itself. So already, you know, we're seeing some significantly better renderings than we would in Vectorworks natively. Okay, so what we're going to do now is basically hop into a couple of other views. So let me see if I can just get this into what I call split screen mode. Okay, so here we are in a sort of split screen mode, just so I can kind of show you both Enscape and Vectorworks together. And basically you'll see that we've got the Vectorworks model and we've got the Enscape model. I can basically interact between the two things. However, neither of these are yet synced. So if I do want to, I can simply go out to my Vectorworks and click the Synchronize View button. And you'll now notice the view I've got in Vectorworks is exactly the same as the Enscape Synchronized view. Now notice that I can basically get my moving around tool, the walkthrough tool, and move around in Vectorworks, and that will basically move around in Enscape at the same time, which is awesome. Now most of the time I'd obviously be doing this with Enscape on my other screen over here, but obviously for you to be able to see this in the video today, let's keep it on this one. Now a couple of little tips for you, just to make life a bit easier. I can go up into my Vectorworks palettes. I can do something called auto hide. Okay, so what that does, it will hide my palettes to the side. Basically they will only pop up and slide out when I need them to. That's an amazing little tip. And if you know the shortcuts, then you hardly need them. Another really great tip on Vectorworks, on the new 2024 version, of course, is we can now auto hide the view bar up here as well. So again, that really kind of minimizes. You've just got a couple of options up there for the preferences, and it just pops up as and when you need it. So this is a really sort of really nice way to run Vectorworks and Enscape together as you're working. Now you will see, you know, mine M1 Pro has the base model sort of GPU, so the performance is pretty good. You'll probably expect to be even better on something like an M3 Max for sure, and I would, you know, love to test that out. If any of you have got that, it'd be great to know what you think. Okay, so let's just jump back into the tutorial a little bit more. In fact, what I wanted to do is just touch on these little bars here. Okay, so these are my activity monitor, if you're interested, on the Mac. Here's my GPU. You can see it's pretty much fully maxed out just by having the two windows open. My actually CPU is barely doing anything really. You know, the efficiency cores are pumping, but the performance cores aren't. And you know, again, you can see that here as well. Okay, so as well as being able to navigate away in real time in Vectorworks and of course Enscape as well, and visualize the model with really nice lighting, let's just pop into full screen for a moment on Enscape. So a key that I've shown you before here is the U key and the I key, and what the U key and the I key do is just scroll through the time of day. So you can see here we are at night time. If I kind of scroll through, suddenly the sun rises and starts coming into the building, and you know, it really is very nice, the sort of quality of the lighting we're getting both internally and externally as well. You can sort of see as I scroll through that time of day, it has a really nice impact on the lighting. So definitely the lighting and the ray tracing that they've introduced in Enscape is pretty awesome. I would love to see this on an M3 Max with the new ray tracing chips that Apple are introducing as well. So we'll wait and see, and hopefully that will be something I'll be able to offer you when I get one. So better save up my pennies and get going. All right, so we've got that working really well. Now the next thing I just want to touch on, again, I've shown you this before, but I think, you know, it's a really novel factor. If you've not seen this, you'll really be interested, is the synchronizing of saved views. So if I go down to my Vectorworks and pop up my save views panel, I'll go through and I'm just going to double click on a couple of these save views. And here we are in Vectorworks, as you can see, sort of moving around in wireframe, really cool actually. And then in Enscape on that other screen, absolutely amazing, the quality of rendering. You'll notice that as soon as I pause for a second, the Enscape rendering takes a few moments and then immediately starts refining. You know, that's pretty normal with these kind of images that rely on a form of ray tracing. I mean, if you look at V-Ray, for example, you know, it's all very noisy until you pause and then it will kind of refine itself. So, you know, don't be sort of put off by that. As I say, I think on a more powerful GPU, we'll have less kind of noise and less refining to do. But it's certainly not a problem. You know, as soon as you pause, you can see it just starts refining, almost invisible to the eye actually, but before you know it, it just looks amazing. Okay, great. So we've got our Vectorworks synchronization. Let's just look at a couple more save views in Vectorworks. These are a few that I basically, standard ones that Vectorworks have set up into the model that you download. You notice I've actually got a couple of my own. So if I kind of double click on some of those, these are some that I've actually saved. Now what's really nice about this is we've got this lovely two-way ability, and I'm going to show you how this works. So let's basically pan up and get slightly more sort of looking down view into the hall. Let's say that I really like the look of this view. And all I need to do is right click, create a brand new view, and let's call this Enscape, saved 6, I think, is probably. Okay, so we'll kind of quickly save that view. And you should notice if I go over to my view management software, okay, I've now actually got the various views. There's the Enscape save view one there. Of course, it's already matched it. But you'll notice that we've got this lovely synchronized ability for me to click on both Vectorworks and Enscape together. So I really, really like this aspect, the way that it recalls these save views. And you know, you've got this lovely synchronization between your CAD software and your rendering software. Nice plan here, but look how nice that looks in Enscape. Okay, so let's just show you how it works the other way, if you like, by setting this up. So what I'm going to do here is attempt to do something a bit more exciting. I'm going to go into my layers, and basically I'm going to turn off the roof layer and the metal layer, because I wanted to create a really nice sort of plan looking down. Okay, so let's just sort of frame up the view in Vectorworks a little bit more. You can see we're in a sort of nice sort of perspective above, which I think looks really, really cool. And all I need to do then is click Create View in Enscape. One thing I really, really like here is the fact you can actually slide down the sort of time of day and the north angle and the azimuth and the altitude, just to kind of create that rendering, really, really sort of, you know, get it looking to its absolute optimum. Just search for that best lighting. And then when you're happy, you can basically create. So, you know, this is a really, really nice aspect. I've got a little warning here, which is basically telling me that I've got to match the projections. Okay, so that means in Vectorworks, I probably just need to go up to make sure I'm in perspective. But if I was to actually try an orthogonal, let's do that. That's fine. I can now create the view. So this creates a really, really nice effective rendered plan in Enscape of my Vectorworks model, simply by turning off that roof layer. So, you know, this is a really, really nice aspect to Enscape. Now let's talk about a few more Enscape features once again in full screen mode. So I think I'm going to go, if I may, to one of the standard views, my favorite views. Let's just double click on that for a second and let it reload. And basically I want to talk about the visual settings. So what I'm going to need to do here is just pop back into Vectorworks, and of course you can see the model without the roof at the moment, which makes complete sense. So let's just slide that across. Let's go to Vectorworks. Of course that's because the roof is turned off in Vectorworks, so let's turn our roof on, and that will immediately update over on Enscape on the other window. So here we go, we can go back into full screen. Fantastic. Okay, so I think I'll pop that view panel away for now. Now I want to talk a little bit about adding assets and how this works and editing materials. I've already touched on in my other video, if you're interested, things like the view settings, and I really do love how you can kind of very rapidly do these amazing sort of white card renders, and I'll definitely render out a few of these for you. Don't forget you've got these lovely outlines if you want to make it a bit more sketchy as well. But basically we've covered this in other videos. Okay, one other thing we've got here is the render quality as well. I go for high, but you know, you probably get slightly better performance if you're running on medium as well, and it still looks pretty good. Okay, so we'll switch that back to high. Great. Okay, so what we're going to do is essentially add some assets. I want to show you how this works. So let's slide this across one more time and just pop out full screen mode. Okay, there we go. And we'll just pop back into our normal rendering mode. So just call it none. There's a white. Let's go for none. Okay, so let's synchronize our views. So in Vectorworks, of course, I'm just going to pop down to my palette, pop out my side palette, go to Enscape, and then once I click on the tool, I'll be able to click synchronize to get back into that view one more time. Okay, so we've got our views synchronized. What I'm going to do is show you how to add some assets. So I'm just going to kind of walk across maybe to this table, and just kind of let's get down so we've got a really nice view of that table, both in Vectorworks, both in Vectorworks and Enscape. You can see it's pretty sensitive in terms of its sort of syncing there. Okay, so what we're going to do, let me just pop back over to Vectorworks. I'm going to go to the Enscape asset library. As you can see, we've got a really nice asset library here, and that'll basically pop up, take a second to load, and we've got all sorts of really nice assets that we can use. So I'm going to go through and select something for, I think I'm going to go for accessories to begin with. Okay, so let's bring in a couple of nice accessories. Maybe we want to kind of categorize this a bit more. Let's go for lighting. Okay, fantastic. So we've got some really nice lights here. So let's see if we can find an appropriate light that we want to bring into our design. I quite like the look of this weird one here. Okay, so I'm going to click that and basically select it. And basically you'll notice that now I can immediately kind of bring it into my model and find a good place. That's actually not a very good place. Let's see if we can just pan across. Actually, I'll just drop it there for now. That's fine. You'll notice it should appear pretty rapidly over on the Enscape side. And basically, once that's appeared, I can kind of carry on with modeling in Vectorworks. Let's go for another prop. Scroll down a bit more. And let's put something nice. If we can find something appropriate, let's see if we can go for a really cool light that we want to add into our sort of scene here. Yeah, let's go for a nice sort of lamp here. Okay. And you can see what it's doing, it's quite nice, it's snapping, it's enabled me to sort of snap to this surface and place the lamp. Okay, so if this doesn't update straight away, it's because I have the live updates turned off, which makes sense. Okay, so now I've got the live updates on, let's just carry on with our Enscape assets. Let's go and add some people, always bring a bit of life to the image. Let's have a look, who do we want? So we'll bring in this lady here. Playing, I think she's, yeah, looks like she's just sort of opening a bag or something. Let's just bring her in and drop her there. But just watch how quickly Enscape will add this high resolution asset. That looks really, really good. And perhaps we'll give her someone to chat to. So in Vectorworks, I'm just going to kind of pan across a little bit. I really like the way you can kind of just, you know, synchronize the views. Let's go for it. And let's just put another lady here for her to chat to. And we can also place, but we can also note that you can also spin them around at the same time as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So in Vectorworks, if I want to, I can basically pop out my object info palette and I could adjust this angle here, let's say 45 degrees, just to spin that lady around. Oh, I probably want to go plus 180, just so she's facing the other lady. So they're having a bit of interactivity, as you can see. So we've got these wonderful assets, and there's nothing to stop me sort of going completely full screen in Vectorworks like we are now. Let's pop the auto palette off, the auto hiding off for a second. Don't really need that now we're in the full screen mode. And let's go for it. Let's put some assets in. Okay everybody, so I've spent a little bit of time adding some of the wonderful Enscape props in Vectorworks, and you can see they've all come through pretty nicely in Enscape. So really just to touch on the final little stage of this video for today, I just want to get some final renders going as well. So to do that, I'm just going to pop up into my visual settings as we've done before and double check in output what I'm actually exporting and where to. So I'm just going to go for 4K. You can actually go bigger than that if you want to. And I've actually got a little folder set up here. I can basically select that folder. Let's go for it. And I've got like a default render folder here. So you can see I've already done a few experimental renders here, but let me click open to save them into that folder. I'll do them as a JPEG and I won't do an alpha channel right now. Okay, so what we're going to do is basically when we're ready, click up onto the screenshot and basically click OK and save. Now you can hear in the UK it's firework night, so I do apologise about some of the background noise, but there's some wonderful fireworks out there and I'm here with you sharing this wonderful video. So I do hope you enjoy firework night and my video too. But anyway, you can see that Enscape is now basically progressing that rendering. What would be interesting actually is if I just go down and while it's doing it, check my activity monitor. Okay, so you can see all the different sort of software I have going, my RAM usage and so on as well. So if you're into this sort of statistic stuff, that's interesting. Let's actually just hide that one. My GPU is totally maxed out, as you would see. So what that would imply is the faster your GPU, the better renders and, well, not better, but quicker renders you're going to get in Enscape. Okay, so let's go through to our view management. Let's go to another view that we like the look of. Let's click on one of our standard views. Let's jump to that and basically you can see there's a little rewind or refresh button there to do an update. I think I've done that one before, so I'm going to go back inside. Just click on that. You can see the little refresh button, if you like, updating. That's a really nice little view. And basically, I think what I might want to do with this one though. Okay, so you can see we've got our lovely view here. And one really nice tip is if you click edit here, you can just pop back in and just sort of refine that lighting as well. Just sort of swing around to get some light on that front facade. And it looks particularly nice with a little bit of sort of shadow coming in from the tree. Okay, that's really good. Finally, we'll pop back into the visual settings. And for this particular one, I actually do want to have a white background. So for this one, I will actually go and change my PNG file from JPEG, and that means that I can actually render this one with an alpha channel. Okay, fantastic. So if I go ahead, I can click save, and all those settings are now saved in that save view for next time. Let's go ahead and render this view, and you can see again, once again, how fast it renders out. Let's have a quick look at the GPU while it's doing it, and basically you can see pretty much maxed out, but that's okay, it's fine. Okay, fantastic. So this is how wonderful and easy it is, if I double click on my next view, in order for you to be able to synchronize between Vectorworks and Enscape on Mac. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go through and back to one of these internal views, because I think that's where Enscape really looks. So I just want to kind of render up one or two final internal views for you. Once again, let's simply go up to create screenshot, and let's render out a couple of more internal views. So everybody, I really hope you've enjoyed this video of Enscape for Mac and Vectorworks. I will be doing more of these, and I'm really keen to sort of keep testing Enscape and see how it works. As you know, I'm a massive Vectorworks fan, and to have this ability to do these kind of renders this fast in Vectorworks is just amazing. So thank you so much for Enscape for developing this wonderful new software. And if you are new around here, make sure you subscribe and like my video for more. I'll be making many more for you soon. I look forward to seeing with you, and let's play out with the final renders that I made during the course of this tutorial. And I look forward to hearing from you next time. Take care. Bye bye.